Hello and welcome to Sketch in Review, the SNL review show, based entirely out of two people's houses / apartments / offices.
The only one.
The
only one. There are no others.
Listen,
nobody else is.
I don't think there are any others that are about SNL specifically in the way that we do it. With that being said, there definitely is. I know too many bored theater kids who are definitely about SNL who want to do podcasts.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if you run and you're listening to the competition right now, hit us up at billyhatemail@gmail.com. If you send us an email, we might read it aloud. Also, if you're not competition, you're just listening for fun, send us your thoughts. We get bored, and we'd love interaction with other humans. Alright, let's jump right in. We got a pretty good cold open this week. So we open up with Kate McKinnon playing Laura Ingraham in The Ingraham Angle.
Yep.
This, I think, is really funny because this is obviously supposed to be a Janine Pirro sketch. But because Cecily Strong is doing her one-woman show on Broadway, they just needed to switch out. So her and Kate are basically each doing like half a season.
Well, I don't watch Laura Ingraham, but she captures that now modern Fox News pundit thing perfectly. Yeah, there's the jokes are they've just been I feel like as long as you're watching it week of, you're pretty much always just gonna enjoy the cold open, unless it's a cold open that is at the beginning of the season and is talking about shit that happened several months ago because we're trying to jam it all into one.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just feels a little...
Yeah, the gotta catch up cold open.
Yeah.
This one...
like I don't even watch. I again, it's a personal failing, but I don't watch enough news to like know what they're talking about. But since it's just rehashing what happened in the news and making jokes about it, it makes more sense. It's better like this. I like it like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it's fun. We get a quick word from A.D. Bryan as Ted Cruz.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yep, that was fun. Just equality, just reminding everyone that Ted Cruz did go to Cancun while Texas froze.
That's right.
I'm glad. When the sketch was...
Oh yeah.
No. I'm glad that Pete Davidson. That they've decided that Pete Davidson will play every unvaccinated sports player because he was Aaron Rodgers. Now he's Novak Djokovic. Which is also really funny that, football I follow very closely, and then tennis I follow tangentially, and those are the only two sports that SNL touches, apparently.
Wow. It's a pretty good spread.
Mm-hmm. Listen, it's said all in the cold open, but for the background on him, he was deported from Australia, trying to play in the Australian Open, and when he was like, no, it's okay, because I already had COVID, they're like, wait, you said you had COVID from this date to this date, and in the middle of that, you went to a children's hospital. Yeah, not a great look for Novak Djokovic.
Oh my god. Yeah, and then after that, they did when the scene had officially gone on too long, they brought on another minute with Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't as good as the other ones. And then I get the idea that like every time we do it, he's like, can we get a name different way to list words up here? It's not as funny. It's never as funny when the words aren't revealed yet. I think the joke is putting a bunch of nonsense words up there, like you're expecting him to go to these places, and then it reveals each one, and then it crosses each one off as he gets to them. I think that's fun. It feels almost like a game.
Yeah, it provides... It's good because it provides a roadmap for where the comedy is going to go. You get your own little foreshadowing.
Yeah, and also it keeps you asking questions like, how the hell do you get from COVID to Jason Momoa. And like that is funny. I don't know how to explain this. And then he's like, "Can we get a Wordle up here?" And I don't know 100% what Wordle is. I think it's just Boggle, right?
No. It looks if what SNL showed on the cold open is what Wordle is like. Have you ever played the board game Mastermind? It's also sometimes called
I played Mastermind.
Yeah, it's just that, but with like 5-letter words.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'd believe that. I looked at it and I was like, I'm certain this is Boggle. But like, I looked at 2 pictures.
Boggle, I think, would have been funnier because it would have been just a bunch of letters and then they would have had to draw the lines connecting the words when he said them.
Yeah, and it would have been impressive to like have made that, but no one's got time for that and blah blah blah. Whatever.
Listen, they only got a week.
Yeah, they need a better graphics department.
Yeah,
that stupid. We'll talk about it, but that timer in the kid show sketch was not great. It was a nonsense timer. If there was just like one person that could spend 2 hours on it, it'd be good.
Anyway, yeah. The cold open, it was good, and then it stayed its welcome a little bit too long to include Donald Trump, which, since 2016, it's kind of been like a historic thing for the cold open.
Sure. And I think he's fun most of the time.
Yeah.
This time, I didn't. He just made the sketch worse.
He didn't add to the sketch.
And also he hurt the integrity of his best bit of this season, which was, I guess, his only bit of this season, more or less. But it's a solid bit. It just hurts the integrity when you try to shoehorn it into a sketch where it's not welcome.
Yeah. Alright, so we move on to the monologue, and listen, as a monologue hater, this was a good monologue. I really liked this monologue. I had a lot of fun with it. This is what a monologue should be. It should be someone talking about something and being funny. Where it's like, listen, the writers wrote, and I get it, he's also a sketch comedian, he's very good at performing comedy, but it's really, if you just read what was written, you could tell, like, okay, you're supposed to inflect here, and it's just perfect, where it's just, alright, well, so he was a cast member 12 years ago, and in those 12 years since, all these other cast members have hosted, some multiple times, before he got to host once. And we'll just go through the list, and have him get slowly more and more neurotic about it.
Right. And then finally at the end, we reveal that it was a mistake and someone else was supposed to be on.
Kristen Wiig shows up partway through, and he gets upset that she got more applause than him. By the way, that Kristen Wiig joke of just like, alright, guess I'll go back to North Korea is such a Kristen Wiig joke.
And that... I don't think that's very fair to Kristen Wiig. Is it like her in that it's not funny? Because I think she's very funny.
No, it's listen, Kristen Wiig, very funny, very good at what she does, but her specific brand of humor is complete non sequitur and then funny thing to say after it. It was tough getting out.
That's fair.
Anyway, I can't believe Peacock is making a Macgruber show.
My God.
I saw the Macgruber movie, and that wasn't great.
I saw 3 Macgruber sketches today against my will. I have never once enjoyed Macgruber.
You know what's really funny is you're gonna have to watch a whole TV show against your will too.
Oh, don't make me.
Yep, we're gonna do a full season review once it's all out.
I'm gonna die. Does that mean we have to do a movie review as well?
We don't. Listen. We're. My plan is over the summer we'll figure out stuff to do to keep the podcast alive. But until then, as stuff comes out, we should just do the recent stuff first, and we can go back in the fucking archives. Because then we're gonna have to watch Coneheads.
Actually, I think I remember seeing the Coneheads movie and enjoying it.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying that it's bad, but we're gonna have to go back and watch Coneheads.
All right. Anyway,
we have a show. We have a show to do.
Next up is Macgruber. I hated it.
Next. No, we can't just.
Okay, fine. We're gonna be on it 3 times, but
Yeah. So listen, this first MacGruber, when it came out, it was interesting because it was like nothing SNL had done before, pretty much, because it was 3 sketches throughout the show that told a story. I mean, this MacGruber one also is just pure escalation. It's like textbook. Alright, so we take premise, we escalate, payoff.
No, it's true. It's a perfect explanation as to why just using the basics doesn't always work.
Yeah, so it's real simple. So for this one, the setup is just that MacGruber thinks that wearing masks are tyranny, and he's just like, he's that type of asshole. And then the bomb explodes, because that's how every MacGruber sketch fucking ends. Yep. I think that's all. I'm gonna wait till the third one to fully go over like why we don't like this, but
Good.
But like we'll touch them as we hit them.
I don't even know if I have much to say about why I don't like it. I just don't like it. But anyway, let's just.
Anyway, there's Kid Clash is next, which is just what if we took a '90s Nickelodeon game show and made a sketch about it. Good sketch. I enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun. I really, really liked it.
I know. It was perfect with the cream, just like super obvious, just cream, which is in a fucking tub.
Yep. Just fucking play. Just A.D. Bryant does an excellent miserable child that people are doing mean things to, and Will Forte does an excellent horrible adult that shouldn't be left around children. And so we just do a scene where A.D. Bryant is all just wandering through whipped cream going, I don't know what's going on. And Will Forte just keeps saying terrible things about her. And then gradually her family starts starts kind of getting in on it too. Like the time runs out and he's like, time's up. We can't do anything about it. They just don't. And then she's like, "Can I leave?" He's like, "No, you have to keep doing it." And the family's like, "It's true. She always gives up." The second half of the sketch is sad music playing while she's dead. It's and then very
she finally finds the fucking flag, and it's like this big. It's like a fucking like between you could hold it between your index finger and your thumb. Oh, and she's like, and it's white. It's the same color as the cream.
Oh my god. It was just very funny. There wasn't much to it. It wasn't awe-inspiring. But
it felt a little bit. It's like it's towing the line between actual sketch and fish and blender sketch, because half of the humor is just seeing A.D. Bryant fruitlessly search through this cream.
Gosh, if it didn't make me smile. Big fan of that one.
Alright, so after that one...
Actually, also another point, counter to Macgruber, this one kind of just followed no rules. It followed some. It wasn't like the Bones sketch, which followed no rules, which was spectacular. It was just... It just kind of happened. It was just a bunch of people saying a bunch of things. There was escalation, but like... I don't know, it kind of felt a little aimless, but it still didn't... Well, no, it didn't feel aimless. It didn't feel as tied to any rules, but it was still a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was, it definitely felt like, they had like, alright, well, this is the idea, and how do we stretch this to, like, 6 minutes or whatever? Yeah. And so they're like, alright, well, we can spend 3 minutes of her just searching with, like, Will Forte occasionally being like, here's a hint! It's in there!
That's right! Very, very good. Very, very good.
And then the second half, we can just be mean to her. Alright, so after that, we come back from commercial into Macgruber 2. And so in this one, it starts and you get a little bit of background of what happened in between the scene and the next scene in the Macgruber intro, and in it they're like, he's trusting the science. He's doing loads of research. And then fucking, and then you get in, and Macgruber is like, hand me that ivermectin. Hand me the hydroxychloroquine.
Yep.
And they just start
New jokes that would have been
down.
relevant a month ago. Or like, was it a month ago? 2 months ago? These are old jokes. These are very old jokes.
Hydroxychloroquine is a very, very old joke, because that's from the beginning of the pandemic. Ivermectin, still big in the people who want to take horse dewormer.
Fair. But not still big in the joking about people that still want to take horse dewormer.
Mm-hmm. And listen, a lot of people say a lot of things about it, but the point is that there were a lot of people who were going to the farm animal supply and picking up the horse ivermectin instead of the regular people ivermectin and taking actual horse dewormer.
Anyway,
yeah.
The horseworm's joke was funny. I thought the horseworm's joke was funny.
The horseworm's joke was a good payoff for it, where it's just like, oh, also I have horseworms, so, like, this is gonna help either way. Pulling double duty.
And then he's got, apparently, horseworms eating the spaghetti that he had in his pocket, which is gross but funny. That bit was fun. I liked that bit. I guess I like all the bits that are distracting you from the overall conceit of Macgruber.
Then we get a classic repeated sketch, Cinema Classics, with your host, Reese DeWhat, played by Kenan Thompson. This one is always good. Like, Kenan helps keep it together so well, especially. Just because anytime that you need to, like, get to another scene, you just cut back to him and he tells a fucking story about his wife.
That's right. It works. It's very fun. This one, I don't think was my favorite, but that doesn't matter. It was still a lot of fun. I think the second half... So the first scene, it's talking about the movie Gaslight, and about how that was the origin of the word gaslight. In the movie, a man turns down the lights every night in his house and convinces his wife that he doesn't do that in order to convince her that she's crazy. I'm sure there's other steps. I still haven't seen the movie. And then it plays to that by having him do increasingly weird and unbelievable stuff to make her think she's crazy. The first half didn't really work for me personally on account of the fact that it was kind of just silly things to make someone think are crazy without any payoff. But then the second half,
the
payoff.
Yeah, the second half had a lot of payoff. The first half, it was good when she's like, can you turn it up all the way, and he turned it off. It was like, our gas bill is going to be through the roof. But then it immediately moves to, oh, what is this, not a book? And he goes, that is a rat. And it's like, okay, I mean, are we seriously going from like, I turned the gas light off instead of on, to this physical object you are holding and interacting with is something else entirely?
Yeah. I don't know, I guess you're right. Maybe that's why I didn't think it was funny, and that's probably why. I'm not sure. There felt like a disconnect. It seemed like we were going to do another, like, do re mi thing where we're just going to find funny things that it would be funny if they weren't those things and were instead other things. But then once we get to the second half, and is there a pineapple saying it's a steak, and she's like, all right, this is a pineapple.
Yeah.
And then he has her swear on a Bible, and it says, how to gaslight your wife by Gregory. And that was great. That was actual escalation. We were actually having fun, or not. I don't know if it wasn't. I don't know if the other one wasn't escalation, but this one was in a direction that was funny. I guess I'm having a hard time.
Because there's a difference. Because like the first part is always generally like, okay, it's a relatively similar rendition of like a scene in the movie. Like, the other cinema classics I always think back to is the John Mulaney You Know How to Whistle one. Which is says, you just put your lips together and blow, and then she just fucking blows a raspberry. Just and it's like, okay, and then they just keep escalating that where she keeps returning and stuff. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. This one, it went from like, alright, here's a plot point from the movie, immediately into pure, like, Banana Land's objects aren't objects.
Yeah, that's true. It was probably just too big a skip.
But anyway, in the second half, though, we get the fun where we subvert the idea of the movie, and we have the wife character regain like some of her composure and be like, no, this is definitely a pineapple. You definitely kissed her. This book says how to gaslight your wife.
Yeah. It's good. It's fun.
And then it ends with Keenan being in trouble with his wife. Perfect.
Yeah, can't be mad at that.
Mm-hmm. So after that, we get the threesome sketch. So in this sketch, Heidi Gardner and Mikey Day are a married couple, and Will Forte plays a third they're bringing in for Heidi Gardner's birthday. I will say I did like that they set up the setting and the entire premise of the sketch in like the first 5 lines of the sketch.
Yeah.
In just like, basically like B-movie acting way where one person states exactly where they are and the other person states exactly what they're gonna do.
A little bit of that Crow character relationship objective
where. That was my favorite, doing 3-line scenes and trying to incorporate Crow the where. Just whatever you were gonna say at the end, comma, at the restaurant.
But yeah, no, you're right. It's very efficient. And a lot of times it's not efficient, and a lot of times it's too efficient. But this one actually communicated it in a way that felt real.
Mm-hmm.
Enough.
Yeah,
real enough.
It felt
SNL real.
Yeah, it felt real enough in the sense that I could see a bad movie doing this.
Sure.
Anyway, Will Forte comes in, and the gimmick is that he's like, no, I'm gonna cuckold you. That's the entire thing. Is no, you thought this was a threesome, but it was me, cuckold.
It is very funny when we're watching a scene where the word fuck would be used a lot, and they're not allowed to say the word fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You say that you're going to make love to my wife. Like, I don't think he'd say it in as many words, but yes. Yeah, it was a fun concept. It dragged definitely.
It seems way more like it was like somebody suggested it at like the pitch meeting, and then like everyone was like haha, and then 2 or 3 other people were like, oh, what if he just fucks the wife? Da 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 da, and they're like, all right, cool, that was really funny. I'm glad we did that. And then someone went and wrote it down, and it just didn't like translate correctly.
Yeah. There were bits that I really liked.
Testing the bed was hilarious.
Testing the bed was hilarious. I'm a Sweater was a fun bit. I didn't like it in this scene. I don't know what I wanted from this scene, but that was. I guess it conflicted with the "I'm gonna fuck your wife" storyline.
My favorite was, "You're gonna hit me with my own wife."
That was very good. There was the 3 Cialis, that was fun, and the Cialis heart attack was a fun punchline.
Really? I didn't like the Cialis heart attack. I mean, like, I get that, like...
It was a cop-out, but I don't know, I thought it was fun.
Yeah. A little continuity error I noticed is he came in from the hallway, and then when he said, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and deal with this, he went out to the hallway again.
Oh boy.
I don't know why I'm nitpicking this softcore porn SNL sketch.
Oh, I did like when he was fucking the pillow too. Mm-hmm. It's a very Will Forte thing to do. This is why we don't bring you back to SNL thing to do. I think I think it just needed a stronger focus. I think it needed to pick one thing, or it needed to, I don't know, it needed or maybe it needed a stronger character.
Yeah.
I think people fucking Mikey Day's wife is not a great sketch idea. Merely just because Mikey Day is not a great person to have their wife fucked.
He's not a good cuck.
Yeah, he's not a good cuck. It's not fun. It's not fun to see. Like, it's not fun to see. It's not funny to see. It's just a little sad and kind of frustrating. And
it's almost a little too real, even though I'm sure Mikey Day and his wife love each other very much.
Yeah.
Unless that's what they're into, then good for them.
No, yeah, like But it seems like he's constantly playing people that aren't into it,
Yeah.
but also like so passively not into it. I don't know. Like,
you know what I think it is. I think we either need to go like. I think Mikey Day. I think he played it too like lackluster because he was very good when him and Ego with Sudeikis.
I didn't even like him in that one.
Really,
I
did.
agree. He played more into the character of No Stop.
But
like,
you know, also it's kind of hard with the premise of this one because he's doing it for a birthday. Like, okay, we can have a threesome. So it's more. But I don't know. I feel like when you get to that point, it either needs to be like if we're gonna like if Will Forte's still the host, then we just need a person on the cast who can look huge and yoked or small and tiny. You can't just be like a normal dude.
But imagine, you always say Mikey Day and Dismukes could play the same roles. Imagine if Dismukes played this role.
Oh my god,
I nail it.
Yeah.
It would be so good.
I think we're really high. I think Dismukes is like just gonna fucking kill it the second he can.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely.
I can just you're gonna make love to my wife? With that fucking Dismukes energy.
You can just deliver those lines so much better. He's just got this. He's got a much more. You want him to turn to the camera and shrug more than you want Mikey Day to.
Mm-hmm. All right. After that, we get our first song from Måneskin.
Yeah.
I
like it.
Yeah. Listen, it was fun. It seemed like the kind of song I'd put on like a Spotify playlist.
Yeah. Me too. Well, I mean, my playlists are, they've got a high bar. I don't know if it'd make the playlist yet, but it'd be on my liked songs.
Oh, okay. I see how. You see, I just have a bunch of playlists in like a tier system.
That's a better move. Couldn't be me though. Too much work.
Mm-hmm. I really liked all their costumes for it. As we were watching it, I made the joke that they harken back to the '80s. In which men were men because they dressed like women.
Yep. I like their costumes.
Mm-hmm.
I like the shiny suits. Song was fun, and they seemed like they were having a good time. I really got no notes.
Yep. They shredded. It was dope.
Yep.
All right. We'll move on to Weekend Update.
Hey.
Oh boy, this was a good Weekend Update.
Really good Weekend Update. It had so many hits.
I will say that the first slate of jokes were not great.
I'm so bad at remembering singular jokes, but I'll believe you.
Yeah, because it started with like the Biden gave a 2-hour-long press conference because that's how long it took to list everything that went wrong. Like they said, if it went so long, da da da. Just because you went for a long time doesn't mean it was good. Which, like, that was a good joke, but then, like, the rest of it was kind of lackluster. But then we move into the first featured performer. Chen Biao, Trade Daddy, as played by Bowen Yang. So
this is Bowen Yang character.
This is a recurring character. Since Bowen has been on, they've started using him to play Chen Biao, the trade commissioner for China. And I love his character for this all the time. Fucking everything about it, where it's just so, like, flamboyant and actively evil.
Oh, you guys are talking about human rights abuses? We don't really have those.
We don't have human rights here in China. My favorite though was like, Jay asked him, "Are you okay that NBC isn't sending their commentators to China for it?" He's like, "Yeah, we're fine. Are you okay? You have to fucking broadcast out of a studio in Connecticut," which, like, great burn. I am all for Connecticut hate.
I work in Connecticut. It's
Oh, unfortunate.
I don't like going to Connecticut.
Also,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and then they made a solid Dave Chappelle joke.
Yeah.
Which, like, is going to be really real, which is a lot of people are going to protest after China does the Olympics.
True, it's true. God, how do you milkshake duck yourself so hard, Dave Chappelle? All you had to do was not that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Fucking Colin Jost comes in the second half of the jokes segment with a solid Rittenhouse OJ joke. So many parts. One, calling Rittenhouse a Gen Z icon.
The icon. Jesus.
And then ending it with, be careful about trying to get your rifle back. That's how they got OJ.
It's wild because, like, it's wild how hard Weekend Update goes and how soft the rest of the show goes a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think it's... I don't know what it... I think it might just be because, Weekend Update is more just pure punditry.
Yeah.
So they have the ability to, like, go hard in the paint because they'll quickly move on, versus if you go hard in the paint in the sketch, you're still there for another 2.5 minutes because you don't go hard in the paint in the end in an SNL sketch.
That's true, and also if somebody's gonna be like, "My country," they're like, they're more likely to be like, "I didn't like that joke," and then to move on to the next joke than they are if they're watching a sketch and then they're like, "I don't like their sketch," and then they'll turn the show off.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess it makes sense, but still don't like it.
Yeah. So after we get through we get another Sarah Sherman featured performance.
Always a classic.
Oh my god, that bit is so funny every time.
Mm-hmm. It's really powerful, and that was her first featured segment when she did it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
She came out of the gate.
Out of the gate.
Oh.
Listen, we love Jost Roasts. And it's just an entire featured segment of Jost Roast.
My favorite before the queer baiting jokes was, if you looked at one of the headlines, they named him Colin Jost Hansen. Which is such a good fucking, like, obviously Colin should probably change his name to Scarlett Johansson.
I didn't think about that, but yeah. Oh, man. The Jost Johansson household.
Mm-hmm.
What was I really liked... I'll try and circle back to it.
So anyway, at the end of it, when she's like, "Why don't you and Michael just kiss already?" And he goes, "We're not gonna kiss." And she just jumps into that Colin Jost hates queer love. Oh.
I remember one of my favorite parts about this is that like, a lot of people say comedy is about surprise, and it's not. It can be, that's an element to it, but this is a joke that you know what the punchline is going to be every time, and the joy is just watching it happen. The joy is just
the journey.
Saying something and being like, "Oh no, you said the thing," and then you watch her slam it, and that's it. Like, it's a modern Jane, you ignorant slut. Like, that's essentially what we're doing here.
You know what's funny is my immediate thought was it's the Weekend Update version of Charlie Brown trying to kick the football.
Yes, you do make an excellent point. Ugh. I mean, it's a joy to watch.
And then we get another great featured performance.
Oh God, we got 3. We're spoiled.
We're spoiled. This Weekend Update, you just watch it all because we were spoiled this week.
Yep.
This is the recurring character, guy who just bought a boat, and his entire gimmick is that he says gross shit in a rhymey way, and he has a very small penis. That's his entire gimmick the entire time.
I'm sure this has been done many times. I've never seen it before. I am in love with this character.
Oh my god, it's so...
I think it's the funniest shit.
Yeah, it's just so good every time.
Especially when he was like, I have a small penis. And then Joseph's like, did you just say if you have a small penis? He's like, yeah, you knew he...
Yeah, because literally every single time when he gets about halfway through his bit, he starts being like, down there, microscopic.
So good. It's so special.
And then my favorite part about it is because when I heard the news about Colin Jost and Pete Davidson, my immediate thought was guy who just bought a boat. And I was so hoping that they would bring it up. So halfway through, the guy who just bought a boat goes, "Hey, wait a minute, Colin, you just bought a boat." And then we get Pete Davidson on. Pete Davidson looking like the most fucking Staten Island motherfucker I've ever seen. He's in like a Carhartt jacket, a beanie with a cigarette on the side, and he's drinking a tall boy out of a paper bag. You can't get much more Staten Island than that. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, Colin Jost and Pete Davidson bought a Staten Island ferry to turn into a club.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a comedy club, which is going to be so funny.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Pete Davidson fucking, like, helps bring the sketch fully around. Fucking...
He's perfect.
Yeah, my favorite was when he was like, that's how I found out we got a new mayor. What happened to Bloomberg?
So, I will, as we all know, that was also how I found out we had a new... No, the sketch was how we found out. I found out we had a new mayor. Why didn't you... We did a sketch that night. Yeah, I leave when I finish my last sketch.
Listen, I respect Pete's work ethic of it. My work's done. I'm going home.
No, I respect it as well. What a joy. What a joy. Oh no,
man. Weekend Update was a great time. Next up, we get the country greatest hits.
Another one that I'm sure
is a sequel sketch.
Yeah. God, I love it so much. I love it so much. I love everything about it.
And I think they did it perfectly. Where people who knew that this was a sequel sketch, they get a little bit at the beginning where you get to see both characters first, and then for the new guys, we'll hop back to Keenan for him to explain what's going on.
Yep. And honestly, as a new guy, just being thrown in on the deep end, a joy. A joy. God, what a good sketch. What a good sketch.
They only know 4 things: spaceships, toddlers, Model T cars, and jars of beer.
It's just... I mean, it's such a...
It's so emblematic of what SNL was in 2010.
God damn, that's so special. What a good... Just 4 random fucking things. We make 3 weird country songs that sound... That, like, are enough... like, we did a really good job writing them and singing them. Enough so that you can get the idea that, oh my god, these weird people made a country song about these 3 things. And then you keep doing it, and it's the right kind of strange. It's hard to tell what the right and wrong kind of strange is. That's the right kind of strange. I love that. I live for that.
Yep, listen, just great sketch. A lot of fun. All good time. Next up, we've got Måneskin Part 2.
Yep.
So, I'm going to be honest, and I don't listen to Måneskin because I never heard of them until they were announced to play on SNL. But this song sounds exactly like the first song. Like, it's just da-da-da. I don't know if that's just all their songs are basically just, like, that exact, but it was just straight up where it's just like, oh, okay, so we have, like, very fast guitar, and he kind of just, like, sing fast talk into the mic.
And it's also just, like, I mean, in a similar fashion, they were wearing loud jackets, but different ones. They could have all just like rotated jackets, and I wouldn't have known. It wasn't a costume change. It was just like it was a fun fact. They changed costumes. Like, I don't.
Because you might not notice.
Yeah, you might not notice. That said, I liked both songs because I like the sound of both of them. I'm gonna look into them. They seem like a fun band.
Like I said, I'd put them on a Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
Alright, and then we got our 10 minutes to 1 sketch. Macgruber, part 3, bringing it all home.
Yeah, Macgruber robbed me of a 10 minutes to 1 sketch.
And in this one, after what happened in the second part of the Macgruber sketch, he goes full QAnon shaman.
Yep. Another joke that would have made sense literally a year ago. The jokes just got older.
Yeah.
They just got less. Was the escalation that the jokes got more out of touch?
Maybe.
Unless everyone was really hyped about the all gas no brakes interview that the QAnon shaman had a couple weeks ago.
I didn't know about that.
That's all I can think of. That's the only time he's been brought up. I'm pretty sure.
And that's obscure even for, like, me.
I know.
Yeah, listen, it's just, like... I mean, listen, it was funny when he was like, yeah, they eat babies all the time, insatiable. They have a variety of recipes, I assume. Where it's just like, not a lot of QAnon members talk about, like, that's gotta get boring, right? If you're always eating, like, boiled baby.
Well, I'm sure they've all got a different idea. Like, if you asked me, I'd be like, it's like a ritual thing. It's like the host at mass. You gotta have your baby, and you do it. You don't like it. Nobody's happy about but you gotta do it, or else you're not gonna get the
adrenochrome. You got it. It's the adrenochrome.
Yeah, that's right. You don't get the baby juice. That's what I said.
You see how I always thought they thought of it was they took like a big syringe and just jabbed it into the adrenal gland and ripped it out.
God. Content warning.
Content warning. We're talking about adrenochrome.
Talking about some horrifying shit. Anyway. Yeah, this sketch sucks. Everything about this sketch sucked. The movie probably sucked. The show is gonna suck. I hate Macgruber. It's not funny.
Yeah, I don't think there's much else to like. It might have been funny the first time they did it, but eventually, like, you gotta stop, right?
MacGyver wasn't even like
that good.
It wasn't. But it wasn't even topical in 2010. It was more topical in, 2016, where they did the revival, and nobody watched the revival. So, who cares?
Yeah, fair enough. I will say, around the time that the Macgruber movie came out, I was a big MacGyver fan. So, it was, a perfect timing for me as a child, but...
Okay. Sure.
But even then...
To make mistakes.
But even then, after the Macgruber movie, I was like, this kinda sucked.
Is Will Forte really that goddamn desperate? This is the thing. This is the fucking thing. He's complaining about the fact that what's his name? Jason Sudeikis comes on a bunch of times. Yeah, well, Jason Sudeikis came on coming off of Ted Lasso, the show for that time, for that months where it was coming out, and you came out trying to get people to watch Macgruber the television show.
Streaming only on Peacock, not even a real TV show.
Ay. Fucking kill me, Macgruber.
All right, so we'll move on.
In sketch of the night, Macgruber.
Yeah.
I don't know what you thought I wouldn't do it, but no, fuck that. Anyway, sorry.
All right, so we'll start with our offensive player of the week. The offensive player of the week is generally someone who plays a strange or out there character. They are generally moving the sketch forward and are trying and are generally more of the main focus of sketches. Uh, this week, my offensive player of the week, I'm gonna go full Forte. I feel like he tried his hardest. He crushed Kids Clash, where he was just a terrible host to the child. He did his solid character for the Country Greatest Hits sketch. Macgruber, there are people who must love Macgruber. There are probably people who are like, oh, dope, a new Macgruber sketch came out. And, for them, Will Forte makes it. Send us an email.
Send us an email at Billy Hate Mail with the title, I Love Macgruber, so I can personally delete it.
Connor does not have access to the mail files because we don't trust him. Yeah. So it's okay. You can send the email. Don't worry. I'll find it. I'll make sure that it gets read on air.
Up and down those stupid Google shipping containers with a magnet in my hand until I find the one that has.
Dude, what if that's how email worked? Is they had to ship the server with the email on it?
No, did you hear? Google bought a fuck ton of shipping containers.
Oh.
And they just keep servers in them.
Oh my god.
Or at least that's what we hope they do. They didn't mention why. And they did it shortly after they dropped "Don't Be Evil" from their mission statement.
Anyway, yeah. Let's see. He also made the monologue palatable. Yeah, so Will Forte is going to be my offensive player of the week. What about you, Connor?
Well, it's Will Forte's show, so obviously, offensive player of the week needs to go to the guest, Kristen Wiig.
Care to elaborate?
Yeah. She showed up in that singing sketch, and she was also awesome in the singing sketch. What was that other sketch she was in? She was
Macgruber.
No, she was in something else, wasn't she?
The monologue.
I thought she was in a third thing.
Not that I can remember.
When I was going to say this, I remembered her being in a third thing, but I guess not. I might have.
No backsies. No backsies.
No backsies. No, I'm mad at him.
You're mad at him?
I'm mad at him. She was in my favorite sketch, so she gets it.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll move on to defensive player.
I'm also just mad that there were also sketches where he was pretty good in all his sketches. Okay, I'm not that mad at him, but you're right. No takesies backsies. Kristen Wiig also gets an offensive player. She deserves it.
All right. Next up is the defensive player of the week. That is whoever generally tries to keep sketches afloat. More of the straight man-esque characters. And generally more of secondary background, holding up the rafters type. And Connor, do you want to go first for defensive player of the week?
Yeah, mine's boring. It's a perennial addition, but Kenan Thompson. He's very good at keeping a sketch together. Like you said in the
Cinema
Gaslight
Classics
sketch, we would cut back to him. He would say something funny, and then we would move the scene forward without needing to say anything else. He's really good at keeping a scene together. And
yep.
It's always great to have.
Same. I was also going to pick Kenan. Cinema Classics is held together by him. Country Greatest Hits is also held together by him. He's the one who explains the joke to anyone who didn't know that it was a sequel sketch. And all in all, obviously he's consistently nominated at a minimum, because anytime he shows up, he's been on the show longer than anyone else besides Lorne. So it's all right. How often? How much more could he really not be nominated?
Yep. And unless Kenan takes off, I think he's going to be on the.
Listen, Kenan might have gotten a second season, but it's not going to take off. Nobody wants 2020 Full House. Although now that Bob Saget died.
Oh yeah.
Rest in peace, him and Louis Anderson, as far as comedians go.
I was listening to a Auntie Donna podcast with Bob Saget, and apparently he really helped them when they were starting out and trying to like do international stuff. And they showed a podcast that had him on it. Um, it was very funny to watch him because he's got this like he had this like I mean he is bad grandpa, I guess is the point.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was like he's like an aging dude that used to do a lot of edgy comedy, and now he doesn't know enough about the world to do edgy comedy, and so he's trying to do edgy comedy but also trying not to hurt anyone. So like he talks about they were talking about like they were making a show, and he was making a pitch that one of the characters was transgender, and he just said the word transgender an uncomfortable amount of times as if that was like kind of a punchline, but he was also trying to be respectful and use all of the right terminology and paint this person in a good light. It's very fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun to see this. It was fun to see him trying, because he was definitely coming at it from the right angle. It was just like.
It's just grandpa's talking about a controversial topic. Everyone brace yourselves.
That's right.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Bob Saget. We'll move on to sketch of the night. Sketch of the night. I think me and Connor have the same sketch of the night. It's the country greatest hits.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, just so great. And like, people. Listen, I'm one of the people who will always say that SNL has always been bad, and if you think it's bad now, you should go rewatch a full episode of any other time period.
What?
But, like, damn, were some of, like, the best sketches of the late 2000s, God, do they still hit so well.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of...
And you can see
there's always one sketch every season that will always exist in the hearts and minds of everyone.
Mm-hmm. And it's just, this one is so great, it's just, even 12 years later, like, you don't need to change anything about the characters or the sketch or anything, and it still hits just as good as it hit 12 years ago.
No, it's an excellent sketch. You gotta sift through a lot of coal to find these diamonds, but
find them you do.
That's right. There's enough coal to find them.
Mm-hmm.
47 seasons.
All right. So that was our episode. We'll be here next week for Willem Dafoe and Katy Perry. Willem Dafoe. All I ever think of of Willem Dafoe is that episode from How I Met Your Mother. Willem Dafoe. The entire time, without fail. Until then, stop seeing Spider-Man. Stay safe.
Oh yeah.
Can't be watching Spider-Man.
I still haven't seen it because safety concerns. But
stop seeing Spider-Man. And stay safe and support local comedy. See you next week.
Yep.